Hi, my name is Cynthia. Today I'm going to be talking about parrot cages. Most of these cages, I'm going to list a whole list of them. I've gone online and did some research on what is considered the best cages and which ones are most popular and which ones you can find. I haven't bought any cages since the 90s and 2000, so a lot of my cages are not even being made anymore, which is a shame because there's one brand which I love dearly, but they're just not available anymore. Now sometimes you can buy them used, which is great because you'll save a heck of a lot of money on a used cage than buying a new one. And some good ones I got online, and I can't believe some of the prices, $2,000, $1,500. But when you consider the length of time the bird's going to be in that cage, it's not that expensive, but it's hard to come up with that money right away. So what I did is I started out with a little cheaper one and then gradually over the years moved up to a more expensive one. And all my birds are in more expensive cages now. The best one that I like are the King's cages, which again, they're the more expensive ones. And I like them because they're powder coated. You can also buy them that are stainless steel, and they're usually they're very well made, first of all, and they're fairly common to find. You can get them online, but I'm pretty sure you can go into any bird store, a real bird store, and they can order one if they don't already sell them there. But King's cages are the ones that I suggest personally from my use of them over the years, even small ones and very large ones. King's cages are the best ones. Now there used to be Animal Environments. I don't know if they're making any anymore, but Animal Environments are another ones that are excellent. Bird Talk used to advertise them all the time. Have you ever seen that magazine, which is a very good magazine on parrots? And Animal Environments are, again, expensive cages. I've had them for my macaws and for my cockatoos, and very good cages. I would also recommend them. Extremely high recommendation, just as King's cages. But I'm not sure if they're being made anymore, but if you can buy a used one, don't hesitate to get an Animal Environment one. Now these are ones, I'm going to have to read them to you. I'm sorry, I don't know all the names, and most of these I've never heard of before, but I will give you the names. Another one that I have been around for years are Preview Hendricks. Preview Hendricks you usually can find in bird stores. When I started out, they were mainly metal ones, and they were the cheaper metal ones, which you can still probably find them for sale. And if you're aware that they can rust and keep track of that, that's a good value because they are nice, strong cages. And I have Preview Hendricks for carrying cages for my parrots when I have to take them into the vets for whatever reason. They're a little bit smaller, and they usually have handles on them, and you can carry them around. For that purpose, a metal cage is okay because they're not in the cage for hours and hours. But if you have them in the cage for hours and hours, I would suggest more powder coated or the stainless steel cage. But Preview Hendricks is a good brand, very popular brand, and they've been around forever. I mean, even since the 90s, probably even before the 90s, they've been around. And I would recommend them, but they tend to be a little bit less expensive, and they're really quite not as hardy, I would think, as an Animal Environments or a King's cage that I suggest strongly. Now let's go through some of these that I don't know. I don't know these cages. There's Super Deal cages. There's Zeny, their wrought iron cage, Zeny. There's Vivachrome, Vivchome, and I assume they're chrome cage. Maybe they're stainless steel, I don't know. There's Yaheetech, they're wrought iron. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. There's Homey, Homey, Dey station. There's McCage, Mcage, corner cage. That's a corner cage, which is kind of nice if you have that situation in your house. There's Nova. There's Zaxpedy, Jaxpety. It's a walk-in cage. Again, some cages are large and you have to have a large room, like maybe you have a rec room or a family room where you can put them in, and you can walk in the cage and clean the cage and walk out. And that would be for a bird that's pretty tame and you can take them out, put them in and out yourself. It would be hard if they're not tame to open that door and walk in. They could get out, and you don't want that to happen. There's bird cages for less. There's Petco. Petco sells a lot of cages. That's a store that has, and you can get them online too. Chewy.com, you can buy cages there. Chewy.com, you can get pretty good prices on cages. You can also buy used cages. And I would suggest used cages if you're just starting out, because you can get usually a very good deal on prices on used cages. But check them out very carefully to see where the rust might be, where the parrot has done damage to the cage. But right now, when I was buying birds in 90s, the used cages were really crappy cages. Nowadays, you can find some really nice cages that parrots have died over the years. Sorry about my parrot in the background. And the cages are in really good condition. So I would suggest when you're just starting out, you can buy a nice used cage. Buy the cage and then find out what you like, whether you like. I had another video about types of cages, dome cages, play top cages, and see which ones you like. And then down the road you can buy a good one. Save your money up and buy a nice one, and buy one that you like. But start out maybe with a used cage. And another reason for used cages, unless you've had parrots for a while, you might not know if you want a parrot. So if you spend a lot of money on a cage, you might be out money, because selling a cage secondhand, you take a dip in the price because it's used. It's not new. So beware of that. And those are pretty much the ones that I checked out. And if you can find a neon, N-E-N-O, neon cages were cages that I bought in the past, but they went out of business. They're excellent used cages. Do not hesitate to buy a neon cage. So, N-E-E-N-O-N, I forget how it's spelled, but neon are very good cages. Well, I hope you got some good ideas for some cages down the road. Come back and visit me. Give me a thumbs up if you did get some good ideas. I try to download every Monday, and I'm going to have more videos on parrots, because they are something I love to talk about. I have parrots, and I've had them for many years, and I hope you got some good ideas. Thank you for coming and visiting. Bye now.